Johnson heads to the bucket. Layup, Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody. Woo, baby, football season. Gotta love it, baby. Gotta love it. SEC Media Day is going on right now in Atlanta. This is what it's all about, baby. I mean, we've been waiting for this for how long now? Since last football season, and we got it back now. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Powers, talking sports with me, Chris Powers. We got Jonathan in the house. We got Marty even in the house. Marty is here working his fingers to the bone, baby. His stock market. See, Marty works the stock market so much. That's why he's got all the money in the world. About to be a billionaire. He's close, and he'll be able to buy the Pelicans from the Benson soon. All right, now we got lots to talk about today. Obviously, the SEC Media Day is going on. There's no doubt about that. This show is seen all on the Cox Cable Network area, 89% of the Metro New Orleans. Also got them here in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette as well. We're glad that you can join us every week. We like our sponsors, TJ Ribbs and attorney Tony Clayton. Brian Kelly talked yesterday, and notice that yesterday Brian Kelly was trying to be in a joking manner almost every answer that he took. Every answer, every opening statement. The LSU fight song was going on, and he said, I'm not playing until that's over. And, of course, you can see they faded it out. Here they faded it out. But other than that, man, I'm telling you, he was energetic, ready to go. You could tell he was nervous, a big room. It's amazing what they do all of that. So they go from the big room. That's what he first starts off with, goes to the big room and starts talking and all that to the media, opens up his statement. Then he opens up questions. Then he goes into another smaller room and has a sit down at a table and does more Q&A. Then he goes to everyone and does the car wash and every one of these deals. It's a long process. I'm sure he's home by now. But anyway, it's crazy. But he kept joking throughout the deal, trying to lighten things up, lighten the mood up a little bit. And it was interesting to do all of his questions and his Q&As and what have you. We got a little taste of what he said yesterday about the show. About his team coming up, Nussmeier, also the offensive line, how the defense is going to be, and this is what he had to say yesterday about his team coming up for 2025.
Yeah, I would say that when you're comparing him to Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow, that's a high bar for anybody, right? But Garrett is at LSU because he loves LSU, and he wants to lead our football team to a championship. And if the Heisman follows with that, I think he's good with that. But I answer the question this way is because all of our conversations with him aren't about individual goals. They're about how do I lead this football team to a championship. And all we've seen is him leading, him being selfless. And his selflessness is going to be the differentiator from last year to this year, as well as the experience that he had playing against really good SEC teams. Well, I think we've got an outstanding defensive coordinator and a defensive staff. Blake Baker is in my opinion, elite in the field of defensive coordinators. We needed to give him some more tools. And look, I've been the head football coach at LSU, and I know that we have not played the kind of defense necessary to win a national championship. I think we put a roster together in this offseason, along with young players that have taken lumps along the way as they've developed, and given Blake now the tools to play championship level defense. Because clearly the 2023 offensive football team we had was good enough to win a national championship. We weren't good enough as a team, and a lot of that had to do with addressing some shortcomings we had on defense. We think we've done that. I love our roster. I love our team and the way they interact, the camaraderie of our group, the seriousness and focus, their intent. So I think we're going to have a defense that is going to be representative. And look, anytime you go on the road and play a team like Clemson, you better bring a defense with you. Well, I don't think you replace a Will Campbell. Certainly, having 4 drafted, they were well regarded, and certainly Brad Davis has done a great job in coaching them. But if you're trying to address graduation in a knee-jerk reaction, right? And not having that planned in advance, you're probably going to take a hit on the offensive line this year. We have been grooming some players for their chance and their opportunity. You remember, I started Emery and Will as true freshmen in the SEC, and they held their own. We think we've gone a step further, that we don't have to start a true freshman this coming year, but guys that we've developed. And then, as you know, we went into the transfer portal, brought in Braylon Moore at center, Josh Thompson, some veteran guys from the Big Ten and the ACC who have been in the wars. So you're adding those two guys to the mix. DJ Chester started every game for us last year at center. He's a multiple player guy, can play guard or center. And then we've got some younger players that are going to step up that started in the bowl game, and we'll see how that plays. But I'm bullish on our offensive line. I think we're going to be able to produce the kind of things necessary to be a championship team.
So big talk with Brian Kelly yesterday. I like that a lot. And it shows that, again, offensive line, that's the big thing. That's the one thing people are worried about. But he said they've got some players from the Big Ten, from ACC that have been in the trenches that know. And again, what he talked about Nussmeier yesterday a lot, there's a couple of things I got a lot. And I've said this for all the time. Practice is good. Practice is on this level. You learn from practice on this level. Your timing, the plays, everything else. And you know the instincts of your receivers and as a quarterback. And as any player, the more playing time you get is way up here. That's the more benefit you get when you play. The more you play, again, I go back to that Iverson. Practice, y'all. Practice. All the players know that. You get most of your deal when it comes to the game, the actual game. Now, for me, when I played, same thing. In practice, I didn't give it all my all, but when it got to the game, the coach's eyes were like that because of the fact that I played at a different level. Practice is practice, man. I want to play in the game. I get inspired by hearing fans boo or calling you all kind of stupid names to cheering them. I get motivated by that and motivated by winning. I want to win. I don't care what I do. I want to win. And another thing I heard a lot about yesterday was how close the team is, and that's key. That's key. Remember Joe Burrow threw to all of his wide receivers when they go on the way to class or they're doing this and doing that? That's how you become close. When you do things during the off season, when the coaches can't come around you, and it's just the strength and conditioning coaches that can work with you. Okay, they have a dead period where they can't go around the players. But when the players get together on their own, they go out and go eat together. They go do this. That's why when you become a pro, the offensive line every week goes and eats somewhere at a restaurant. Every week. You get to that point, and you get to the point where you're good and your continuity is running. You have more of a success chance. You have a better chance to be successful by doing that. You have a better chance of being successful by doing that. That is big. Kelly likes that the roster is strong. That's another thing I heard yesterday, a concept I've heard all throughout the day. The roster is strong, especially on defense. They've got a lot of depth from transfers that came in and players that went through their bumps and bruises. That was key. Tough opener against Clemson. Everybody said that yesterday. And the one thing about what Brian Kelly is putting on, and Jonathan, I'll ask you this question here. The one thing that he said is they're putting emphasis on that first game to go 1-0 because they're 0-3 in the Kelly camp, 0-3, is simply because of the fact that you're putting all that emphasis on that first game. You got to be careful on that because with today's kids, you got to baby them more than anything back in the old days when we played. You got to baby them because if you don't, they get so broken down. If they lose that first game, you got to understand you got 11 more games to go. You can go 11-1 and make the playoffs and win the national championship. Period. You can still do that. No team last year finished undefeated. So that is key. That you got to be able to, he's putting all the emphasis on that first game, and that's a top 10 matchup. It ain't going to be easy to go Clemson. Now, we know where the real Death Valley is. There's no question. Everybody says pretty much in college football, LSU, Death Valley is the place to watch a football game and play. However, Death Valley and Clemson also is a pretty good atmosphere. It's not as big as Tiger Stadium, we know, and it's not as loud as Tiger Stadium, but it's loud, and it's a very tough place to play. Do you like putting all that emphasis, Jonathan, on that first game to where, hey, we got to win, we got to 1-0?
In this particular case, Chris, with this team, with this program, where it's at, year 4 under Brian Kelly, having lost the first 3 week 1 season openers under Coach Brian Kelly, yeah, I agree. You put a lot of emphasis on you have to win this first game against Clemson. Your overall goals will take care of itself, but you hear coaches all the time. Even Coach Terrence Graves, who we both like a lot in Southern University, talks about going 1-0 each week. This really helps you secure that mentality for your team very early in the season. Go 1-0 each week. We're going 1-0 to start the season. It is going to be a tough matchup. Both these teams have known who they were playing now for a couple of years. It's been marked on the schedule, circled on the calendar. LSU knows what the expectations are. Not only are they returning Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback of the team, but they spent a whole lot of money in the NIL transfer portal situation to bring in some guys to create that championship-level depth that Coach Brian Kelly talked about. And I thought he was very confident at the podium yesterday. Started off kind of joking about the fight song that was playing, and it was very light in a lot of moments when he was asked questions, and you could tell he was confident. And why wouldn't he be? He feels that this is his best roster, and not only do you have a lot of talented kids, but this is the tightest group, the closest group, camaraderie-wise, that they've had at LSU. And look, I'll just say right now here, I'm going to call it very early on your show before the season's even started. This is going to be a very special group. The leadership on this team is very special. When your quarterback is that guy, the guy who wants to work the hardest, to compete the most, to hold each other accountable, that's when special situations happen. And they are talking about their faith. I mean, they're coming out talking about how God put them in this situation and how it's His plan. And when young men talk like that, you can tell a level of maturity, a level of go get it that you need to play football. Yes, it's an emotional game, but you have to have a good head on your shoulder. You got to channel that emotion and that aggression. All pull one direction for a common goal, and it's going to be a special group. And I'm looking forward to this season.
Yeah, I can't wait either. And it's coming, bro. It's coming. It's going to be here before you know it. He talked about also the passionate fan base, and he said that LSU has sold the most season tickets, 75,000 in the nation. Close. I hate to correct you, Coach. Close. Tennessee is at 101,915. That's number 1 in the nation. That's how many season tickets they sold. Every year they sell that. Texas A&M is number 2 at 93,000. LSU is number 3 at 75,000. So it's close, but ought to be interesting this year. There's no question about that. I like the way he talked about Harold Perkins Jr. coming back and that he's going to play in his outside position. Now, remember in the days of the Dome Patrol, outside linebacker played on the line. They were the defensive ends. Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson were on the offensive line, and they rushed the quarterback every single time, pretty much. 98%, 95% of the time they rushed the quarterback. Harold Perkins feels good about that, rushing the quarterback. The problem is the last 2 years, you've shown where Harold Perkins is weak on, going up head-to-head up against a running back, going on a pass zone like DeMario Davis does. That's the only problem that you've got. Now, maybe in the NFL you could change that because Bruce Arians saw a honey badger at cornerback at LSU, and he says, okay, no, I want to draft you, but you're not going to play cornerback, son. You're going to play safety because when you turn, when your body turns to go and when you're doing your back step and your body turns, you lose a step and a half in SEC. And what you think is going to happen in college football? You're going to really get beat. So he put him at safety. And that's what I'm hoping that when he gets to the NFL, one coach will figure out what Perkins is going to be good at, and I think it's that outside linebacker spot where he's constantly rushing the quarterback because in year 1, he was the MVP of the whole team. There's no question about that. He was the MVP because he was absolutely unbelievable in that season. And obviously we saw his productivity drop after that. Even some of the times that he did rush the quarterback. I saw him in one of the Florida State games where he just slowly went around the quarter to get the quarterback, and you could tell he was lollygagging around. You can't do that. You got to rush at all speeds. And in the National Football League, what was the coach for Atlanta, Glanville, say? NFL stands for not for long. And that's exactly what's going to happen if you don't play at 100% at all times. But I think Perkins Jr. is an unbelievable athlete. I think he's going to be back in his normal position. They said that's when he was when he got injured against UCLA last year. He'll be back in his normal position at that outside linebacker spot where he's going to be rushing the quarterback. So when you've got 2 great edge rushers, and then you've got Perkins coming in rushing the quarterback too in a delayed blitz or what have you, a stunt blitz, oh my goodness. The quarterback's not going to have time to throw the football. The opposing quarterbacks won't have time to throw the football. I love that big time. Speaking of quarterback, Nussmeier also talked yesterday. We're going to talk about that when we come back, talk about him and everything else. And again, about that Clemson matchup, we'll do that when we come back. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house. Back after this timeout right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars. All right, welcome back, everybody, as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, and Marty's in the house. Of course, SEC Media Day is going on day one in Atlanta. Lots of stuff going on in Atlanta. You have the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Last night was the Home Run Derby. Not an empty seat in the house. I didn't see any empty seats last night. And then also you have Beyonce concert going on. They got a few concerts in Atlanta for Beyonce. And then you have the SEC Media Days going on in the old Omni, which is their arena and hotel. But it was absolutely crazy with that. But anyway, Garrett Nussmeier had an opportunity to talk yesterday. He's entering his 5th season at LSU and 2nd as a starter. And we've seen the jump like Burrow did from year 1 to year 2. Jaden Daniels, year 1 to year 2. And that's with anything, especially quarterbacks. But what I love about Garrett Nussmeier is we heard about that story about the Manning camp where he threw that and they made it into the goal. He was the only quarterback in all the 45 colleges quarterbacks that were at the Manning Passing Academy that made it. He wanted to go last and what have you. That shows his confidence. His confidence is out of this world. I love that. And I'm glad he didn't jump into the National Football League. That's a difference between you get a family that comes from a quarterback in the NFL, and you're going to see that. You saw that with the Nussmeiers, and you're seeing that with Manning's. Peyton Manning, remember, he stayed his senior year. He played all 4 seasons at Tennessee. I think you're going to see that with Arch Manning. I don't think Arch Manning goes out this year. I think Arch stays here another season at Texas, and I think he goes out next season, his senior season. He'll have 2 years of eligibility to go with the University of Texas. But I think that's what you see with those smart families like that. They're smart, and they're patient. You'll be better if you mature more at doing this and just rush. So he didn't rush off to the NFL. And last year was a very weak quarterback class. He could have went in the first round. He could have very well went in the first round. He could have went easy early second round. But he stayed. Now he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's one of the best. Everybody lists him as number 1 quarterback in the SEC, and they've got a lot of quarterbacks in the SEC this year coming back. There's no question about that. His confidence level, like I said, is out of this world. His maturity is unbelievable. You want a player like that. He's got strong faith in God and his religion, and that's what you want to see. Not a guy who thinks me, Shedeur Sanders, a guy that thinks of the team. My goals is to win a championship. That's why I came back to LSU, he says. That's what my goal is. I want to be a quarterback that wins a national championship at LSU. I don't want another quarterback to do that. I didn't want the next quarterback to come in and win a national title. I want to be the one that brings a national title to LSU again. Okay? That's what makes him unbelievable, and that's what is going to be great. The question is, what did he learn from season 1 as a starter to season 2 now as the starter? Let's let him answer that question right now as he talked to the media yesterday, day 1 of the SEC Media Days. Here's Garrett Nussmeier.
Well, for one, just in general about the team, I think it's the closest team that I've ever been on at LSU, just as far as the brotherhood and the camaraderie within the locker room. As far as the receiver room, I mean, I don't think that we have a receiver that runs over a 4.4. So that's exciting. A lot of versatility and a lot of speed. And, the run game, I think, has been a big emphasis for us and improving in that area. And I think you'll see a lot of versatility just as far as getting guys the ball in different ways. Well, for one, just having last year to be able to go back on now and watch, study this entire offseason has been about that for me. Just watching all parts of the game, seeing the areas where I need to be critical on myself on and improve at, and whether it's taking care of the football or using my legs more in situations that I need to, and but it's also been about seeing the things I did well, also having confidence in that and confidence that this is what I was able to do in year 1, and now it's just all I got to do is raise the floor, and I think that obviously my goals are team goals, and so I think that me being the best version of myself that I can be will hopefully lead us into the team goals. Well, I think for one, there's no hiding from the turnovers, and I think it's more of an understanding of, the way I am as a player, as an anticipation passer. There's going to be some interceptions. The ones that I need to eliminate are the ones that don't need to happen. The ones where I'm trying to do too much. The ones where I'm trying to make a play when I don't need to. And I think it ties into my growth as well. And I've really bought into trying to change my body makeup and being able to be more durable, to be able to run, to be able to make plays with my feet as well. And I think, there are times last year where I may have made a mistake that if I would have just put my head down and gone and got back to the line of scrimmage or went and ran for 3 yards and slid, it would have been a different outcome. So all of them tie together. And there are also many ways that I'm trying to grow as well and be better as a player. And as I said before, it's more about just becoming more well-rounded and raising the floor.
Love it. Not one receiver runs the 40 in over 4.4. Not one. That's NFL speed, baby. That's unbelievable. Not one receiver. That means the fly patterns, whatever patterns you got, when Nussmeier takes his 3-step drop, those guys are going to be 30 yards down the field almost on a fly pattern. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I cannot wait. And that's all receivers. That's not 1 or 2. That's not 3. That's every one of them. Are you kidding me? I cannot wait to see that. If Nussmeier, and he also talked about working with them all summer long, working with the receivers all summer long, and that's smart. That's another way of maturity. Don't just sit there and think you're going to get it in practice and what have you. Get that timing down. Work during the off season. That's what pros do. That's what pros do. And that is, I love it. I love it. I love it. Also, Brian Kelly yesterday talked about the tight end room is going to be strong. Trey'Dez Green, we all know he can run routes like a wide receiver. We talked about that last year. We bragged about that last year. That's great. But now as a true tight end, you've got to do the dirty work. You have got to block. You got to block. Jimmy Graham was okay as a blocker, unbelievable as a tight end and receiving. Former basketball player. Trey'Dez Green, with his height, you got to be able to block. There's no question. If you can't block, you're not going to be tight end long, and you're going to. And with the receivers' speed that we've got, you're not going to get much time at wide receiver. You're going to be way back on the depth chart in wide receiver. I'd put him in every single situation in the red zone, and that's what Brian Kelly talked about. Jimmy Graham, when Sean Payton was there, put him in the red zone. When he came back, what was it, a couple of years ago, they didn't put him in the red zone. What are you, stupid? What are you, stupid? You've got to put him in the red zone. A guy like that, a guy that has great leaping ability. So you got cornerbacks that got great leaping ability. But the problem is when you got a tight end that's 6'7", and what have you, and has just as much leaping ability as a cornerback, mathematics, do the math. That cornerback will not be able to catch it. That cornerback will not be able to get up there and knock that ball loose because he's got big-time length on you. He's got arm length, and he's got jumping ability. And that's what Trey Green's going to have to learn, because I'll tell you this, Bauer Sharp, the transfer from Oklahoma, they said he'll rip your face off. That's what they said. Nussmeier said that yesterday. He will rip your face off. He is a very aggressive tight end, and that's what I want to see. He catch the football. Now, he ain't got a problem with blocking, and he ain't got a problem with knocking your head in the next week. Snot bubbles is what they used to call it. I want to see, my coach used to say, I want to see snot bubbles coming out. You hit him so hard, he don't know where the hell he's at. He's gone for the rest of the ball game. Snot bubbles. Donovan Green, the transfer from A&M, has been suffering with injuries, and he's from Texas, but now he transfers to LSU, and he just wants to rekindle. He wants to rejuvenate his career. And that's why he came here. He came from an injury. He's up for a new start here at LSU. I think that's big. You heard Nussmeier's comments, Jonathan. What are your thoughts on Nussmeier coming in this season?
One, I'm really just happy for Garrett Nussmeier, a kid that really did it the right way, came to LSU because he wanted to be at LSU, not because they promised him something or gave him a bunch of money. Waited his turn when guys came into the program as transfers, took his starting position. He wasn't the guy to go pout or run to the transfer portal. Says all the right things. You can tell he's a son of a coach. Guy's been around the game for a long time. Situations aren't too big, including when you're in front of 50 cameras at SEC Media Days. Very poised, very confident in his abilities, but I think the way he looks at his film, looks at who he is as a player and tries to improve each and every day, each and every practice, really speaks to his maturity and his leadership ability. And I think that's where he had to take the biggest leap from year one starting to year two. Obviously, he's got the physical abilities. He can move out the pocket, make every throw in the field, strong arm, very smart, understands defenses, but his leadership is really what had to improve, and I think it has. And you heard Chris Hilton talk about him yesterday, along with what Weeks is just say, look, when your leader is the quarterback, it makes it a lot easier. When your guy touches the ball, when you're the main guy touching the ball every play, your team has confidence in you. Truly, it makes it a lot easier for everybody else to do their work. So,
well, I know you got to be excited about the wide receivers running no less than a 4.4.
Yeah, it's certainly incredible. And you bring in Nick Anderson, Barry and Brown. Guy has tons of speed, along with guys you already had in the building with Chris Hilton and Jelani Watkins. You go through it. Trey Green's gonna have a huge year at the tight end spot. But yeah, Bauer Sharp, Donovan Green, deep position wise at the skill position. So. Excited for LSU football, and really all the expectations are pointed towards Garrett Nussmeier, a guy that waited his turn, did it the right way, and really puts his teammates over himself. So you got to be encouraged by that, Chris, and certainly looking forward to seeing what he puts on tape for his last year of eligibility.
That's right. I cannot wait. Other notable things from SEC Media Days. Day one, Commissioner Sankey says college athletics are strained and must require adaptation, and that's absolutely true. With the NIL deal and the collective bargaining agreement, that's all fine, but you got to have $20.5 million in the year one. It's going to go up every single year, so you got to have $20.5 million to keep your athletic going. And are you going to be able to compete? I think the LSUs will be able to compete, but even Alabama, as I told you before, that Alabama AD is concerned. Greg Byrne is concerned, because he don't know if they can raise that Alabama funds as much as these Texas and Texas A&Ms and even LSU with Louisiana. Louisiana has at least billionaires and Fortune 500 companies where Alabama does not. So that's going to be and they got to require adaptation. And Kelly says it starts with the coaches first. It starts with the coaching and his staff, his general managers, and stuff of that nature. While the season's going on, Kelly is coaching the season, and so are the coaches, and they still got to call recruits and what have you. But now it's totally different, where the general manager staff starts looking at recruits and transfers and what have you. Also, asked about the SEC going to 9-game schedule. That's the Big Ten wanting them to go to 9-game schedule to make it even. Well, the problem is Big Ten don't play as tough a schedule as the SEC does. Out of schedule and also within the schedule. How many big teams are usually big? 3, 4 tops? At least 6 to 7 in the SEC. At least 6 to 7. Because I think SEC is top heavy. When you have your teams that are going to dominate, nobody wants to play 1 through 7 in the SEC. Now 8 through 16? Yeah, I got no problem with that. Because we've seen sometimes where USC or comes into Tennessee and pistol whips them and stuff of that nature. This happened, years ago. SEC is top heavy. Not all 16 teams are going to be dominant, like Mississippi State and Kentucky and all those. Those are going to be on the low end. We'll take them on. But all of the perennial winners every single year, top heavy, you don't want that to happen. And Sankey said that. We have a tougher schedule than you guys do. Shut up. Big Ten, shut up. We'll do what we need to do. Because when they come up with a formula where it becomes a tougher schedule, who you play and everything else like that, then you won't go to 9. You don't want to do 9 games. You're going to want to do 8, where they're at, where the SEC is right now. You're going to want to do 8, period. The most – now, Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships. I understand. I don't think it'll be a third in a row. But you got to also understand that we have more pro athletes, pro football players that come out of the SEC, and athletes too. More pro football players come out of the SEC than any other conference. It's not even close. It's not even close. And any coach will tell you that. Urban Meyer, who just coached in the Big Ten when he retired with Ohio State, says that. I mean, he loves Ohio State, and he's from that area. But SEC is where it's at in NFL talent. I can give you the stats on that. By the way, next week we're going to look at who is the real QBU, who's the wide receiver U, and who's the DBU. We'll do that next week right here on the show. Netflix will have a new series called SEC Football Any Given Sunday. That begins August the 5th, so it's coming up. August the 5th, it debuts. Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, all opted out of it. They didn't want to do it. LSU is a part of it, and again, it begins August the 5th on Netflix. That's kind of like the QB1 right now. Well, it's QB Season 2 with Joe Burrow. If you watch that on Netflix, it's behind the scenes, and it really gives you a deal of how camps are run. Okay, and it's big. LSU fans never liked Les Miles. Even when he won a national championship, they liked Les Miles. The players, I talked to Darius Geis not long ago, a few weeks ago, and he said the NFL camps were nowhere near what Les Miles camps were. And so did a couple of NFL players who was at LSU and got drafted by the NFL. They're all fine. I think it was Jamal Adams when I saw he said this. No, I can handle all of this because of the fact that I went through a Les Miles camp. Miles put a grueling camp, and Alabama players, when they were talked about how they playing in the NFL, it's like playing LSU every week, they said. He had physical football teams. That's what Brian Kelly said yesterday. We got to get back to that physicality because we didn't have it against Alabama. That's one way we got beat. Our defensive line got thrown around last year. That's why we got beat. We've got to match our physicality. Alabama, whether it is Nick Saban or now the current coach, they've got to match the physicality. And in the SEC, that's what you got to do. Games are won on the offensive defensive line. Now, at the very end, sometimes you get a lucky play like a screen pass that beats LSU in Tiger Stadium at the last second. But, again, it's one of that offensive and defensive line. If you dominate that offensive defensive line, that's where games are won in the SEC, in the trenches. And in the National Football League, it's the same way. That's why Mike Ditka was building that offensive defensive line, especially that offensive line first. He just ran out of time, and things didn't run out the way he wanted to. And the NFL, again, not for long, baby, not for long. But Netflix series, Any Given Saturday, SEC Football, will be August the 5th. It debuts. Big talk that Nick Saban is coming back. That was big talk yesterday. I agree with Chris Lowe. He's the first one to report that Nick Saban was retiring. He spent time with Nick Saban recently. He thinks Nick Saban is very happy at home, and he don't make that decision. Miss Terry does. He thinks he's happy. There's rumor that he's coming back, but the only thing about it is, notice that he was not at the SEC Media Days yesterday. He was last year, his first year. He was not available yesterday. He was not there. And word is he won't be there today. He's not part of their coverage. And that was crazy because last year he was there. So it'll be interesting to see if Nick Saban does return. Where does he go? He's got to be at a good program, though. He's not going to go to a program like Mississippi State or, something like that. It's going to have to be because he's going to be 74 soon. He didn't want to do all that. He's 73 now, I believe, and October 31st, I know that's his birthday. So we'll see what happens with that. Will Nick Saban return? Lane Kiffin paid tribute to his dad yesterday. I loved Monty Kiffin. He was a great defensive mind, former defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. He had a great defensive mind. Came up with the Tampa 2. He is incredible. He had a tribute to his dad last night. Also talked about how he changed his staff. Said that his teams, SEC team, his Ole Miss defense and offense had the most double-digit wins last year in the SEC. It's fine, but you didn't do anything past that, So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And he talked about Nick Saban as well. If Nick Saban returns, he said, yeah, because he's wasting his time. He's such a sharp mind. He said, no disrespect to what you guys do, the media, but he was. He says Nick Saban's still got a sharp mind. He hears it on game day and what have you. So, Jonathan, your thoughts. Does Nick Saban come back and coach?
I wouldn't be surprised either way, Chris. But you're right. It's up to Miss Terry for sure at this point, Coach Nick Saban's life. Obviously, a very sharp football mind. The league certainly needs him to be involved one way or the other, either on college game day, be a part of some commissioner's table. He needs to be involved in the league. The league's better with Coach Nick Saban. He's the best coach to ever do it, in my opinion. I wouldn't be shocked if, like, an Oregon came and backed the truck up full of cash and got him out of retirement for at least a trial couple of years. But, yeah, I agree. It's not going to be a rebuild program situation. It's going to be somebody that just needs to get a push over the top. It's going to be a high-profile coach that gets fired that now you start talking about, oh, well, is Nick Saban going to take this job? I know a lot of LSU fans' ears kind of perked up when they heard, that Nick Saban was thinking about returning. But, yeah, I think you can still do it, no doubt about that. With this, restructured NIL collective bargaining agreement, possibly that does open the door for him to return, because I know that was a big reason that Coach Nick Saban did walk away. So who knows? I mean, he certainly deserves the chance to make that decision on his own. He put in a lot of time and effort into college football in general. So whatever he decides, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, no question about that. And I don't know. He's seeing that his buddy, his closest, Bill Belichick is doing it at his age, and they're the same age. But I just don't. I think Belichick's going to fail at North Carolina. I really do. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good player. I think he's a better player talent evaluator than Nick Saban. Because you notice that, again, and when I say that, people go like, what? Well, let me give this in easy layman terms to you. Saban had a good program. That's why he won all those national championships. He had a program. If one player, the first player come out with socks halfway through his calf, every player had socks halfway through his calf. It's the program that he did. But notice that his players, when he was at LSU and Alabama, were not all pros, a lot of all pros every single year in the National Football League. There's only a few, like Derrick Henry's and what have you. Those guys might be. But notice the players that came out of Alabama that even won Heisman Trophy winners have not been all pros yet and still are not all pros. It's just weird. They're not the Joe Burrows. They're not the Jamar Chases and the Jeffersons and those guys. It's weird, but that's the way it is in the National Football League. Those players don't get to be all pros. And one day I'll look at that, and I'll be able to show you that, because I like to go into the facts. I don't like to just sit here and talk like other guys do. I'll show you the facts. I'll go down to it. When Kelly said that they sold more season tickets in the college football this year, 75,000, I had to look it up and find out that no, Tennessee was number 1, Texas A&M was number 2, and LSU is at number 3. I had to look that up, and I did. So also they said that Auburn is climbing up fast, not as much as LSU, but Auburn is starting to come up now with their season tickets too. Auburn's selling season tickets pretty good. A lot of people believe that Auburn will be the sleeper team this year in the SEC. All right, we're getting out of football, believe it or not. When we come back, we're talking baseball. LSU got absolutely raided this week in the MLB draft. We'll talk about that after this as we continue to talk sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, all right here on Pelican Sports TV. If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs, because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
All right, Major League Baseball draft time this week, same week as the All-Stars. At least they moved it back. Used to be, remember, in the middle of the World Series, College World Series all the time, but they've moved it back. That's good for that. A lot of players, current players on the roster, and a lot of players that that were signees for LSU are gone or been drafted by the Major League Baseball. The question is, will they go? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see, so we'll see how that goes. But Cade Anderson goes to number 3. Shocking. Washington passed him up. There's something about it they didn't like, so they took another guy instead of using Cade Anderson. Anderson will go at number 3 to the Seattle Mariners. With that, and the Mariners got some big deals going on. Last night, their guy, for the first time, an actual player won the home run derby from Seattle. First time ever. And now they get Cade Anderson as a number 3 pitcher. I think Cade will spend more time in minor league baseball than a Paul Skeens. He's not quite like Paul Skeens, but I think that Cade Anderson will do some time in minor league baseball, probably maybe a year, year and a half, and then he might go to Seattle. But it'd be interesting to see how fast he move up the chain. He's young again. That's another thing. He's very, very young. He's only a sophomore, as you know, from the Mandeville area. So we'll see how that goes. Third baseman Brady Ebel signed a deal, was drafted number 32. He was an LSU signee. They really thought he could play either third base. He could play either left or right side of the back of the infield. He went number 32 to the Brewers, which is the first round pick. First and second round is the contract is outrageous. Doubt they're going to go anywhere. Again, they have all the way till the first day of class. If they don't sign a pro contract before the first day of class, then they can go all the way up to that first day of class before they go. But when they go to class at LSU, then they're done. Their pick is over, and Brewers lose out. But if they do sign a contract with the Brewers, then LSU loses out. So outfielder Jaden Fosk, again, another signee from LSU, goes second round, number 44 to the White Sox. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year from the state of Illinois. So he is going to be – he was their second big draft pick – second big signee for LSU. Second round pick, I got a feeling he's gone, no question. Pitcher Chase Shores goes as the second current player on this team. A lot of people think he's coming back. He's second-round pick. I doubt it. He's number 47. He was picked number 47 going to the Los Angeles Angels. I got a feeling he goes to Major League Baseball. He's got a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. When he gets to the right pitching guy, you look at it, could be 103 up to 104 possibly, maybe even up to 105. His slider was big this year. That was big because all he threw was a fastball. But now his slider is perfect. And unless you can be like a Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, if Greg Maddux say, I'm throwing on the inside a certain degree angle, he threw on the inside a certain degree angle. That's the only time you can just throw a fastball and be happy with it. But now he learned how to throw that slider last year. Yeski taught him how to do that, and then now he's got the slider. He'll learn more pitches now as it comes on as a Major League Baseball player. But I think Chase Shores is gone. Second-round pick, he's gone. Infielder Quentin Young, another LSU signee, goes to the second round, number 54 to the Twins. The Daily Advertiser in Lafayette, though, thinks that he's going to come to LSU. That thinks that he felt that he should have been first round. He says that they say that Quentin Young probably is going to play at LSU. Be interesting to see. I'd love to see that. Outfielder Dean Moss, another signee, a second-round pick, number 67 of the Devil Rays. That's 4 signees that LSU has had in the top first two draft picks. First two draft picks. First two rounds. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anthony Ianson, I had a feeling he's got a great breaking ball, a great off-speed pitch. No question about that. It just drops unbelievable in his drop balls. He goes third round to the Boston Red Sox, number 87. Jonathan, do you think Ianson leaves?
Oh, yeah.
I think so, too.
Yeah, Ianson's a pro pitcher, no doubt.
Third round?
Yeah.
I think he goes as well. Outfielder Ethan Fry. A lot of people think Ethan Fry's coming back to LSU. He went third round, number 95 to the Astros. I don't know. Third round is not a bad. You get a pretty good contract in the third round as well. Catcher Landon Hodge, fourth round, 106 pick to the White Sox. Another LSU signee, Daniel Dixon, a very tough second baseman. Play with a broken hand. You remember that? Goes sixth round to the Brewers. Will he come back? Play second base. Jared Jones, his eligibility is gone. He goes ninth round to the Pirates. And I really thought, now his power is good, but every Major League Baseball player pretty much has power. I really thought that his slumps on and off in his senior season really hurt him to drop him down to that ninth round. And I said that before the draft even started. He's got an opportunity to be big. He's no question about that, but he's late on his swings. Notice that most of his home runs, a right-handed batter, most of his home runs were going center field or mainly to the right side, which means opposite field home run, and every one of them. I can understand some of them, but every one of them are doing that, which means he's not pulling to the left like he would like a normal right-hander. He's pulling everything center field and right field, which means he's late on his swing. And you saw a lot of foul balls from him and a lot of strikeouts, a lot of also indecisive plays at the bat. I love him to death, and he made a lot of big walk-off hits for LSU in this season. Love him. But in Major League Baseball, man, those guys can pitch and all that stuff, so I hope that he can get it down and gets going and works. And Jerry Jones, great young kid, too. I love to see him, but he's ninth-round pick to the Pirates. Pitcher Jacob Mayers also goes to the ninth round of the Red Sox. He can pitch up to 100 miles. Now, remember, his fastball averaged about 95, 97, but he can pitch 100 miles an hour. He played only one season at LSU. Didn't get a lot of playing time. He transferred from Thibodeau in Nicholls State. So we'll see how he does if he does absolutely go there. Cade Woods, first player to enter the transfer portal. He wasn't coming back anyway, supposedly. He entered the transfer portal when LSU went into the postseason. He goes 10th round to the Braves. Will he go? If I was him, I would. It'd be interesting to see if he comes back to college and goes somewhere else. No question about that. And left-handed pitcher Connor Ware goes 15th to the Mets. I got a feeling he comes back, though. I got a feeling that Connor Ware comes back. Remember, he started, and he was in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season, but then he just couldn't get it going. He went to the bullpen from there. We'll see what happens with that. So anyway, Major League Baseball All-Star Game going on in Atlanta this week, and former pitcher Paul Skeens becomes the first pitcher in history to go to – first pitcher in the history of the game to go first 2 years he's been, his first 2 years in the All-Star Game. Pretty impressive. What are your thoughts about the Major League Baseball draft with the LSU Tigers, Jonathan?
I was surprised Jared Jones fell as far down as he did. This is a guy that could have came out to the Major League draft and after his sophomore season, selected to come back to LSU, win a national championship, and then fall as far as he did. I wouldn't mind him coming back to LSU for one more season, Big Daddy. Come back and do it, Big Bear. But don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to go be a professional baseball player. And he'll have a long career. It's a guy that was pitched differently than every other batter for LSU all season. Of course, you know Coach Jay Johnson, the whole pitching staff, coaching staff, for LSU is very big on analytics. They talk through situations, and it's difficult when you're being pitched differently than everybody else in your team. You struggle through slumps very publicly because you're the face of the team. You had very high expectations because of what you did as a freshman and a sophomore, with all that being said, obviously, when you're the top program in college baseball, you're going to get absolutely rooted by the MLB draft each and every year. Not only guys you're losing off the team, but the incoming freshmen in high school that you're not going to get on campus because they do get drafted. It's a good problem to have. LSU's not going to have an empty cupboard. Coach Jay Johnson obviously was busy recruiting as soon as LSU did win this national championship after this final game this past year. But happy for LSU to get on the national stage again. Kate Anderson, top 3 pick. Happy for Chase Shores, a guy who absolutely battled back from a lot of injury with his team time here at LSU. Gave it all for the program, did get the last out for LSU in Omaha, so happy for him. Ianson, 1-year deal at LSU. He was the reason they were able to compete. The 1-2 punch between him and Kate Anderson was the reason LSU was so competitive throughout the SEC schedule and tournament in the postseason. So well-deserved. Happy for all those guys, and good luck in the future.
Yeah, no question. I think Eisen was the best pitcher when it came to getting out of a mess, and I think that was unbelievable for him. And that's, again, his breaking ball is unbelievable. It's just incredible. So I wish the best for him, and he's going to the Red Sox. I like that. All right, when we come back, we've got all kind of other sports to talk about. Everything else, we'll do that when we come back right here. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, and Jonathan, and Marty's in the house back after this timeout right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars. All right, welcome back, everybody, as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers. This show's seen 5 times a week on Pelican Sports TV, which is on Cox Cable. 89% of the Metro New Orleans has it. And then, of course, here in Baton Rouge at 360,000 and Lafayette 140,000. And we thank you every single time for watching. It's also on the YouTube app as well as the app as well. All right, so Lamar Brown, big pick. Everybody went nuts over that. He chooses LSU. He plays at U High here from Baton Rouge. Plays at U High, committed to LSU. Everybody went crazy about it. It was on Sports Center. He was a number 1 player in the ESPN 300. Now all of a sudden he's dropped to number 6 in a lot of the recruiting deals because he made his pick. But again, Jonathan, look, love it to death. All that, I can get excited, but I don't get excited till a pen meets the paper. And I think he's coming here. He wants to play in front of his family. He's always dreamed about playing in Tiger Stadium. I've heard that hoopla before, but until and he was big on A&M and LSU back and forth, and he picked LSU. And if you think A&M's done with their money, A&M may come and offer him a big time contract, and he may switch. I think he's coming, but at the same time, until the paper meets the pen, I'm not getting super excited and buying more LSU merchandise and getting crazy, buying season tickets because Lamar Brown says he's coming. He's listed as an athlete. He's going to play defensive line. I'm not getting excited until he signs that pen to paper. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. You don't have to look any further than last offseason. LSU thought Bryce Underwood was going to be the quarterback of the future. Then Michigan gave him $13 million. It's going to be the quarterback of their future. So, yeah, Lamar Brown, I did like the big baseball cap tradition. Where
he couldn't put it on his head.
No, right, yeah, right. But no, happy for Lamar Brown. Guy's going to be obviously physically gifted, talented kid. Need to beef up that defensive line, excuse me. Everybody's been kind of murmuring, where's this LSU defense been? You know, this LSU defensive line used to be one that dominated through decades. So Lamar Brown can certainly change a lot of attitudes. Dominic McKinley also went viral for his workouts this offseason. So yeah, lots of positive motivation moving towards the season for LSU. So, like the Lamar Brown commitment, but you said it. I mean, you can't put all your eggs in any basket. Just look no further than Bryce Underwood.
Tyler Shock has still not signed his rookie contract with the Saints, and they start a week from today. Camp starts a week from today, on Tuesday, the 22nd. Next week, it starts. Or you could, I don't know. I don't know if I'm concerned about it because he's doing off season drills with the Saints, but I'm shocked he hadn't signed that contract yet. I'm interested on that.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned too much, Chris. The guy's said all the right things in his interviews with the media about the city, about the fans, the organization. He did have that off-season, voluntary workout with Brandon Cooks, Chris Olave, and all the receivers. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about it. I think it's more of a second-round pick issue than a Tyler Shock issue from what I've been hearing about the situation. But got to get it done, got to get him signed because this could be, their starter come day one of the regular season for the Saints.
Want to know why Alvin Kamara doesn't throw any halfback passes? A couple of weeks ago, he threw the first pitch for the Chicago Cubs. That's how it went. Check this video out.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. You using this in the game or you not? All right, bet. Come on, D. Let me see that ball. Give me the ball. Down on it. The first one I just let that loose. I was trying to soft it to him, but we good. Double down.
It was horrible. Both pitches were horrible. One went way to the left. He didn't even be able to catch it. It was horrible, unbelievable. John Elway's best friend and former agent died by pure accident. Police thought that, but by investigation, Elway was not drunk. It's just unfortunate, so be careful on those golf carts. It's unbelievable. Cardell Thibodeau from Southern University, outfielder, got drafted yesterday. Look, he batted .423 on the year. His on-base percentage was .554. He's going to the pros. He was picked 490th pick in the 16th round. Congratulations on him. So that's great to see that. He's going to the Padres, by the way. Former NFL quarterback Teddy Bridgewater has been suspended from being coach of his high school team in Miami. Bridgewater posted on Facebook that he covered all expenses of the team from Uber rides, meals, and recovery supplies for young student athletes. He revealed it cost $14,000 to host a 4-night camp with 3 hot meals a day from locally black-owned restaurants and snacks other the days. So that's a suspension. He was done for that. And Kelby Givens, defensive end for this year's Southern University Jaguars, has been named the preseason Defensive Player of the Year in the SWAC. That'll do it for us next week, and we'll be back here again talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, and Marty's in the house. We'll catch you next week.